All right, volume is kind of like area, but in three dimensions. So when we talk about the area of a two-dimensional figure, let's say something like this. We got a two-dimensional figure. The area is the amount of space enclosed by its side. So, well, that went outside. Back up. Here we go. Color between the lines. Still working on that skill. Almost there. Okay, so the area would be the amount of space that the sides of the two-dimensional shape enclose. Well, volume is like that, but in three dimensions. So it's the amount of space enclosed by a solid. So to illustrate that, I've got this beaker, and I put a fake lid on it to make it into a solid, because a solid has to completely enclose an inside space. If there's no top here, that's not quite a solid by our mathematical definition, because it's open here. It doesn't enclose a space. So I gave us a top. All right, and so you can think of the volume of this beaker type thing as the amount of space enclosed by it, or um, the amount of strange blue water it could potentially hold. So this is not filled up all the way, but imagine it filled up. However much weird blue water that is, that's the volume enclosed by that solid. So and just to kind of draw a fine distinction here, textbooks will say uh, or will ask you what is the volume of, let's say, this rectangular prism. The prism itself doesn't have any volume. The prism is just the thing made up by these faces. So I've got this face, I've got this face, this face, this face, this face, and when they're all attached to each other in the right way, um, so they're all touching, they're joined so that they completely enclose the space. Um, then they enclose a space. So this collection of two-dimensional faces has no volume, but they enclose a volume when they're put together. Okay, so I'm about to enclose some volume. Here we go. It's touching, making the faces touch at the edges. Boom. So I could ask now, what is the volume enclosed by this rectangular prism, or what's the amount of space that it encloses or surrounds? So what's the space? How much space is there on its inside in there? Um, so when books say what's the volume of a prism, really what they should say is what's the volume enclosed by a prism, or you can think of it as that's short for it. When they say what's the volume of a prism, what they mean is what's the amount of space enclosed by the prism. Okay, so just a little technical distinction for you there, um, so that no one leads you astray. So the volume of this prism, i.e. the volume enclosed by the prism, is however much space it can hold, and you can measure that in different kinds of units. Um, so if the faces were measured in meters, let's say 5 meters by 3 meters, then the volume enclosed by that prism would be however many meters cubed. You could have the volume of a cylinder, the volume enclosed by a cylinder. It's the amount of space that it encloses. So think of it as how much water you could fill it up with. Boom. All right, that's it.